I cannot believe I'm about to do this again. I cannot believe we are looking down the barrel of lockdown 5. I've already had my cry, I've already had my rage, so now I'm just gonna put it all out as bare and raw as I possibly can so that whoever this reaches, maybe you will understand the implications of these lockdowns. At this point, I feel like an absolute broken record, but I'm gonna say exactly how everyone's feeling because apparently it still hasn't sunk in. Melbourne is about to go into our 5th lockdown. Everyone keeps dismissing it, saying it's just 3 or 5 days. It's not just 3 or 5 days. That's on top of 10 months. Now, for context, I'm a sole trader, I work in the creative industry, and I'm single and I live in regional Victoria. All 4 of those reasons made me ineligible for any support, yet I am the one who has been most impacted. The creative industry has been utterly crushed. We're not allowed to work because we're not essential, so apparently my needing to feed myself is not essential, nor is me being able to pay for the roof over my head. I live in regional, therefore I'm not impacted, but my city, which is just 60 kilometers up the road where all of my work is in lockdown. I can't work, but that's okay because I don't live in Melbourne, I live in regional, so therefore no support. I'm a sole trader, so because my business is small, it's insignificant. I would imagine that if anyone were to be impacted by a lockdown, it would be someone who's completely self-reliant. The someone who doesn't get a paycheck from a big government organization. And then add to that, I'm single, there's no support, right? I'm one person. How many people are like me across a state of 6.5 million people? This is lockdown 5 in a so-called pandemic when no one is in ICU. No one is actually sick. I'm not saying that there's not a virus. I am not saying that there are people who would be more susceptible to getting COVID. What I am saying is these precautions, these lockdowns do not warrant the stress, the destruction, the anxiety, and the devastation that it's inflicting on 6.5 million people. You've got people living in border towns who have been locked down for almost 40 weeks, split because they can't go across the river where the rest of their family is, or maybe their supermarket is, or their school is, because somehow they fit in some kind of weird red zone. Because our politicians blanket policy everything because it's too hard to sit down and have a rational discussion about what parameters would actually be the right way to respond to what's going on. How can the rest of Australia watch your fellow citizens go through this and turn a blind eye? I'm hoping this video gets out to people not in Victoria, because you guys all agree with me. We're all on the same page. And those of you in New South Wales following along are now getting a taste of it and wondering, why is this happening to you guys? What about people in South Australia, Western Australia, Tassie, Queensland to a degree, Northern Territory? Are you gonna literally sit back and watch half of Australia's residents be destroyed by corrupt, imbecilic politicians? No one here is doing a good job. Everyone thinks that Gladys is the gold standard, Dan Andrews is the gold standard. What is the gold standard? Pushing people into financial destitution? Making people have fucking mental breakdowns? Destroying families? The costs of these lockdowns are so significant, the recovery is gonna take a decade. You've got a generation of children losing their schooling, losing their ability to develop their social skills. They're locked at home with their parents, potentially losing their education. You've got people like myself who have bled their retirement fund just to survive, who haven't earned any money for 10 months and just get told, you're doing this for the greater good. Well, I'm sorry, it's not the fucking greater good. My life is just as relevant as someone who's immune compromised or someone who's older. If this is truly about lives, then every life is of the same value. Why is it some lives are more important than others? Because I'm a 35-year-old woman, my life isn't important? My income is not essential? At what point will anyone in any of these governments finally realize the people you are paid to represent have had enough? You who live in these friggin' bubbles where your income hasn't dropped, you're fine. You guys are earning your 6 figures. As a matter of fact, most Victorian politicians have got a pay rise. For you, life is normal. For me, I may as well be living in a fucking third world country because I'm cut off from any resources from this government. I have paid tax my whole fucking life. And right now, my own country is not supporting me. My own country is pushing me into fucking bankruptcy. And meanwhile, half the country's just fucking watching. Yes, I'm swearing. I'm sorry, but if you were in my position, you'd be out of your fucking mind too. At what point do I have to scream and beg people to finally understand what these lockdowns are doing? I'm one person. We're in a state of 6.5 million people who maybe don't have the same confidence to get up on their Instagram and rant about how devastating these lockdowns are. Our city is absolutely on the brink of collapsing. These businesses have nothing left. We don't have any fucking cash. We don't have any savings. We can't afford to keep paying our staff. There is no money. We can't pay for our commercial leases. We can't pay our mortgages. We can't pay our staff. We can't pay super. We can't provide food. We can't put our kids into school. We've got no fucking money. How many times do I have to say the same thing? I'm a broken record. We have no fucking money. We cannot live like this. A 5th lockdown to these politicians looks really good for political point scoring. It looks really good to take the tough approach. Look at Dan Andrews. He's such a man, isn't he? Look at him doing the right thing, locking us down because this virus is so fucking terrible. Yet meanwhile, no one who's infected with COVID right now is in ICU. No one is actually truly sick. They're probably asymptomatic. As a matter of fact, this Delta variant is so terrible, most people don't even know they fucking have it. They're gonna go wait in a testing queue for 6 hours to figure out if they do have it. Meanwhile, the rest of us who are perfectly healthy, who could be going on and rebuilding our economy, get locked up in our homes with no support and no one willing to listen. I have done that many videos, that many stories, and I have tried so much to keep my temper in check, to not show any emotion, because the second I do, I'm unhinged. She's crazy. She's a COVID conspiracist. No, what I am is a 35-year-old single woman on her fucking knees begging for someone to give me some fucking reprieve. I cannot do it. I cannot do this anymore. I am done. I do not know financially how I'm gonna survive. But further to that, I feel like I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I feel like every time I turn on the news or to look at social media or pick up a newspaper, the world's gonna collapse around me. I knew 2 days ago, as soon as there was a case in Victoria, I told everyone it will be locked down by Friday. And guess what? We're going lockdown tonight, 11:59 on a Thursday. It's so predictable now. I know what's happening. I went into such a spin yesterday knowing full well all of next week's wiped out for me. Now, I don't know how much more I can illustrate this to make it make sense to you people. But every time we lock down and I lose a week of work, I don't make it up. Just because people reschedule doesn't mean I get that time back. So if I have 4 shoots next week, let's say it's $4,000, you guys will go, oh geez, $4,000 a week, she's doing all right. I don't work like that all the time. I'm working like a mad woman because I keep losing time. Where I would normally space these shoots out and not work a 100-hour week, I have to keep pushing people in, tightening up those gaps to keep servicing the clients who have paid me, who I can't provide the service for because we keep going to lockdown, and then I have to keep fitting in new work. So I'm working twice as hard as I ever have to make less money than I ever have, just to survive. How am I meant to keep doing this? And for everyone who keeps justifying this by saying we're saving lives, you're not. You're destroying them. The people who have COVID, who test positive, are mostly asymptomatic. These people are not in danger of losing their lives. The people who are in danger of losing their lives are people like me. It won't be from a virus, it'll be because I've had enough and I jump off a fucking bridge. And that might sound extreme, but let me tell you, 11 months of financial stress will push you to that point. Will push you to the point where you're on your Instagram IG with people watching and you're going fucking hysterical. People are watching thinking it's funny. How many people do you need to see fucking dying from suicide, from domestic violence because of this situation our politicians keep putting us in? What will it take for any rational human being with a mediocre amount of fucking compassion to look up and look around, get out of your fucking bubble? For all of you guys who are still employed, who are still receiving a full fucking paycheck, have a look at your neighbor. Meanwhile, while you're sitting at home, having your glass of wine, working from home on your Zoom calls, wearing your fucking pajamas, you've got someone next door who's probably about to lose their home because they're not allowed to work and you are. The disparity between the people is disgusting. This is a first world fucking country. We have the 6th biggest landmass on the planet and we have the least amount of population on it. We are one of the richest countries in the world, and right now we are having people who have worked their whole fucking lives for everything losing it all. I've robbed my retirement fund to be able to survive right now, and I've had no opportunity to even just get a little bit ahead, to even recover. I'm so far backwards that once this pandemic finally ends, I'll never make up for it. And this is the thing, right? The longer these lockdowns go on, the less money this government has because there are no more taxpayers to keep filling up the government coffers. So every time you justify these lockdowns by saying it's better than people dying, how dare you be selfish worrying about the economy? There is no first-class health system without a healthy economy. How do you think fucking Medicare gets paid for? Taxpayer money. Who pays tax? Small to medium businesses, business owners, people who are employed. If businesses fall over, if small businesses and medium-sized businesses in Victoria fall over, that is a substantial amount of jobs lost. Small to medium enterprise businesses employ 5 million people in this country. This country has a population of 26 million. That's a fifth of the country's population employed by small business. Who are the people most impacted by these lockdowns? Small business. So for every single one of you still buying into this bullshit narrative, I am imploring you, I am begging you, look around, wake up. This is no longer about a virus, this is about political point scoring. I'm not indulging in conspiracy theories, I'm giving you guys fucking straightforward common sense. You've got people on the verge of losing everything, and other people living their best fucking life. How can we live in a first world country, one of the richest in the world, and watch this happen to our neighbors, our friends, our families? At what point will anyone with any sense of rationality be able to perceive what's going on and go, this can't be right. We cannot keep doing this. Enough is enough. We will not survive. I know this has been spicy. I know I sworn a lot and I know I look like I'm fucking unhinged. You know what? I pretty much am. When I heard about that lockdown, I felt like a part of me died today. I've got nothing left. I have worked my whole fucking life for everything I have. I have never taken money off this government. I've never asked for a handout. And here I am on my knees fucking begging for someone just to listen to me. Because I cannot do it. I cannot do this again. These lockdowns are killing people. They're killing our spirit. They're killing our businesses. And they're making us not want to be alive anymore. And you might think that's ridiculous. You might think that's extreme. But that's the fucking reality. That's what you guys need to hear. That's what you need to face up to. I cannot keep doing this. We cannot keep doing this. At some point, you guys need to start fucking listening. And if you've made it through to the end of this video, fucking share it. Put it on everyone's Facebook page. Put it under people's nose. I hope this makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. Because this is the real impact of these lockdowns. This is what people need to see. and I need to go. I don't even know what to do now. I don't know how to process what's going on. All I know is that everyone else in my position, don't feel like you're alone. We're all there with you.